What nobody mentioned in those comments, nobody mentioned in the story, and certainly Chris Bowen didn't mention, is how much they're going to be subsidised by. Now, you know, you say they're bludgers, dole bludgers. I mean, how much dollar are we going to pay these windmills, mate? Do you know?
Well, it's very opaque now. It's hard to work out exactly how much assistance comes from governments to these sort of projects these days. The former coalition government, the Liberal National Government, we did end what was known as the renewable energy target. That finished in 2020. So there are no direct subsidies from the federal government, or no standing subsidies. They can apply for grants, these projects, and different concessional loans from the federal government. That's transparent, although we don't know yet with these projects whether they'll get that. But what is hard to work out is the contracts that state governments are signing with renewable energy projects. All state governments have programs that do this these days, and we get told we're not allowed to see the details of those because they're commercial in confidence and they have to negotiate more. So you actually don't really know how much you're paying. It will turn up on your bill, and you can see your bills going up. Part of those increases is because we've got to back these investors, often from overseas, often from China, a lot of renewable energy companies. We've got to pay them through our electricity bills for these investments. It is a complete and utter scam. And in terms of those comments in the Sydney Morning Herald, it does beg a belief. As I said, I'm not against industrial development, but these offshore wind turbines will have an impact on the environment. For the people that so-called care about the environment, one of the big problems with renewable energy is it takes, wind turbines take about 400 times more land than a nuclear energy station to be homed on. So that drilling, all of that pounding in the ocean that has to go on to build these offshore wind turbines, that can impact marine life. We actually don't really know the impacts of that yet. And we got to still try and minimise our footprint on this planet. I'm all for that. As I say, I want to see our country develop, but we shouldn't just devastate our environment in some obsessionable pursuit to lower our emissions while the rest of the world's not doing that.
Well, Matt, we've seen how the Australian public responds to this kind of stuff. Tony Abbott won in a landslide in 2013 for banning the carbon tax. Bill Shorten lost the unlosable in 2019 because he couldn't explain how much his renewables policy would cost. And Scott Morrison terminated the coalition's decade in power by also signing up to this focus group-driven folly. If history's any guide, Matt, this Labor government could easily be a one-term wonder. Now, I know it's early days, but is there a feeling in the party room already that Albo has committed the nation to such self-destructive targets that the coalition might have a chance at the next election?
Look, I think it is too early, and I suppose some of your equation, some of your implicit predictions there is up to us. I certainly think the policy platform of the Australian Labor Party gives us the opportunity. They are signing up to increasing our power prices, sending manufacturing jobs overseas, and overall making our country much weaker to face the challenges of a rising and aggressive China in our region. So if we have a platform that stands apart from that shows an alternative, that lowers power prices, that promotes and supports the industrial development of our nation and our defence requirements, yeah, I think we can win in one term. But if we echo the Labor Party and mimic what they're doing in a sort of with a blue tinge or a blue and green tinge, pale green tinge, in my case, the Nationals Party, well, we're not going to win because there won't be an alternative. People will go for the real thing. So hopefully we'll rediscover our principles and values, which should be in favour of government getting out of your lives. The whole pursuit of net zero is the massive expansion of the state's power. You cannot have these net zero goals properly implemented without the massive expansion of the state's control over your farms, over your factory, over your businesses. And that should be anathema to anybody in the Liberal or National parties, in my view, because I joined this cause and I fight for this cause because I don't think the government's the solution to all of your problems.
Spoken like a true disciple of Robert Menzies, Matt. It's great to have you on the show. Thanks for your time.
No worries, Fred. Have a good one, mate.